One can, we can get it and we can help each other. I have, sorry. There's just so much that we do and all our partners together that it brings this together, and I enjoy it. And without, Letter Carriers, without our partners, without, other unions, and without the Postal Service, everybody, this is the the largest food drive in America. I mean, imagine that. So without that, I need to press play. So if you can watch the video, this is awesome. This is our motivational video. This is what we did.
In America, what does the face of hunger look like? On any given day, 1 in 8 households are food insecure. Tens of millions of military veterans, children, and the elderly are uncertain where their next meal will come from. Fires, floods, hurricanes, and other natural disasters have put millions more at risk. They're forced to turn to local food pantries and shelters for help.
I've been homeless for 14 months. It's my second winter out on the street.
I had to flee domestic violence in August, me and my son. My son's eating a lot of starch, eating a lot of noodles. I mean, that's the only thing that I could really afford.
We provide food in several different ways. It's all free and goes to people who are in crises.
We get people from people that just lost their job to people that just aren't making enough money through hours or not making enough money on their wages. It's tough now.
Pantries and the hungry look to letter carriers to deliver. On the second Saturday in May, letter carriers will once again conduct the Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive, our nation's largest one-day food drive. From coast to coast, letter carriers from more than 1,400 NALC branches and local communities will band together to collect donations of non-perishable food. Last year, letter carriers collected more than 71.6 million pounds of food. This brings the amount of food collected over the 26 years the food drive has existed to 1.67 billion pounds. All of the collected food stays in the local area, going to shelters, pantries, or churches chosen by the local NALC branch. Won't you help to feed the hungry in your community? You never know, but it might be you or someone you know in need.
My name is Jeff Fry. I'm a letter carrier for the United States Postal Service. One of the reasons I'm in the food drive is because I grew up in that situation. And my mom found it hard at times to feed 5 kids, but she never let us with money. The food drive is a big thing for me.
The letter carriers are able to see the community as a whole, more so than many of us who are driving on the main streets, only going to certain neighborhoods. Letter carriers go into all neighborhoods.
This is one day a year that we do this. Just one day that we go out and we collect food for us. We're basically paying it forward.
This is what your food drive does. It fills up these shelves just like this. In summer, when they're in.
That's
So
what
that's
we're
great.
here to help do.
Yeah.
We always know that each individual letter carrier does it out of their feeling of wanting to give back to their community. And we understand that this is something that is done out of the goodness of their heart. We're very grateful for their efforts.
Thank you. Thank you to what they do for the cause and continue doing it. Let's get it done every year because, hunger just doesn't go away. It's not just for the weekend, just for Christmas, just for Thanksgiving. This is an everyday issue.
We need to be doing this. It's critical that we end hunger in America. That's why we call this the Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive.
To not just give you food, but give you healthy food. It's just so amazing, it's so great to me.
To the letter carriers, I appreciate all of your help. To anybody who works here, it's a great thing. Because I tell you what, without it, I don't get much. I don't get much. I go to like day shelters and eat leftover food from stores or stuff like that. So to be able to go home and cook my own meal tonight is pretty awesome.
often, it's the worst of times that brings out the best in people. We're there for each other when times are tough. For the Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive, we know our mission: to collect as much food as possible to feed those in need. This year's date has been set, partners and supporters are in place, and volunteers are ready to go. Now, all we need is for you, the nation's letter carriers, to make it happen. The Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive is a drive with a single mission: to feed the hungry in America. And with your help, we will.
Every can, every bag, every community. America's letter carriers, delivering hope. On Saturday, May 11th, please join your NALC brothers and sisters in the fight to stamp out hunger.
Natural disasters out there and the government shutdown and the kids getting out of school, food is more than necessary this time of year. So if I can, I want to introduce Brian Renfro. He's our Executive Vice President. I'd like to introduce our National President, President Fred Rolando.
Thank you, Christina. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Food Drive Kickoff. I want to thank everybody for attending the kickoff this morning, and I really want to thank Christina for putting this all together. You did a great job, Christina. Thank you. I guess everybody knows hunger affects millions of people across the country, including millions of children, seniors, veterans. And letter carriers, as the video spoke to, we see the struggles in the communities that we serve, and we really believe it's important to do what we can to be able to help. And letter carriers are also uniquely capable of giving everyone an equal opportunity to donate food to help those in the communities and the communities that we serve. The Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive is the largest one-day food drive in America. The Letter Carriers Food Drive is held annually on the second Saturday in May in 10,000 cities and towns in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Guam. In 1993, the first nationwide food drive was held, and 11 million pounds of food was collected. In 2018, the 26th Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive was held, and we collected 71.6 million pounds of food. And in the last 16 years, we've collected over 70 million pounds of food each year. And in the 26 years that we've had the food drive, we've collected over 1.67 billion pounds of food. And I say we because we certainly don't do it alone. And I'd like to just take a minute to recognize the many ways that our partners help out. I'll start with our premier national partner, the United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW. Marcus right there. UFCW donated $1 million for the food drive cards and the food drive bags. They gave a support letter out to all their locals, and they provide all kinds of volunteers and social media advertising. So thank you. AFL-CIO provided some 500,000 paper bags, worth some $40,000. Put out support letters to all the 56 affiliates of the AFL-CIO, and again, provide many volunteers and social media advertising. And within the AFL-CIO, We have AFSCME, who donated some almost 300,000 paper bags along with some cash. The Machinists Union, 100,000 paper bags. The mine workers put support letters out to their locals all over the country, as did the bakery workers. I want to recognize the National Rural Letter Carriers Association, who helped deliver the food drive cards and bags, and alongside the city letter carriers on a strictly voluntary basis. It's amazing the participation we've gotten over the years from your union. Right beside us every year, collecting food. United Way Worldwide, who provides contacts to companies who want to be partners, and also provides volunteers throughout the country and social media advertising. The Postal Service, they play a little bit of a part in this. They provide the G10 postage for all the food drive mailings. They provided the card and the bag logistics, the Stamp Out Hunger buttons, and the social media advertising, and of course work with the letter carriers on the logistics of picking up the food and distribution and so forth, use of the vehicles, use of the stations. CVS Health, Jack, donated $300,000 in-store radio public service announcements across the United States and Puerto Rico. Well, I guess you did that for 3 weeks, right? 2 or 3 weeks. And gave $10,000 to the Capital Area Food Bank in Washington and Gleaner in Detroit, Michigan. Kellogg's Company, one of our newer national partners, donated 500,000 pounds of food, in-store promotional events, provided us with, where's Tony? Scared? Okay. Thanks for being here. Snacks for the kickoff. I assume there's cereal somewhere, but definitely got the snacks. And again, social media advertising. Valpak donated across America printed and social media advertising and gave us a pretty good price on the printing of the food drive cards. Velasas donated across America printed and social media advertising. So again, we don't do this alone. I'm so happy that representatives from all our partners are here to kick off the food drive with us. So I just want to thank everybody for their support. Together we do look forward to another successful food drive. But I want to thank everybody for attending the 2019 food drive, your participation and support for this year. I want to thank all our partners, our sponsors, our supporters, and to our letter carriers and our customers throughout the nation for their dedication and for their commitment to feed the hungry in communities across the country. So again, thank you for being here. Christina?
Thank you, Fred. I would like now to introduce President Richard Trumka from the AFL-CIO.
Thanks, Tina. And let me thank you, Brother Fred, for your leadership and your friendship over the years. Tremendous. And Brian, thanks for all your leadership. I want to start off by saying God bless the National Association of Letter Carriers. Fred, there's no finer group of public servants in this country. You do it all. And I'm very proud once again to offer the AFL-CIO's support for the Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive. This community service program is unparalleled. As Fred said, 27 years and still going strong and getting better and stronger every single year. That's an incredible, incredible record. You've collected food for the hungry in every corner of our country. As Fred said, 1 billion pounds and climbing. And one thing I've learned during my 50 years in the labor movement is that every successful campaign is made possible by hardworking staff. This drive takes planning and organization and a whole lot of attention to detail, And that's why the letter carriers are lucky to have Christina Davidson leading the way. Please give her a round of applause. She does an incredible job. She set an ambitious goal for all of us. 80 million pounds this year. 80 million pounds. Are we going to do it? Yes. Are we? Good. Yes. Hell yes, we are. We're going to do that and some more, right? And to help, as Fred said, we're donating, the AFL-CIO is donating 500,000 bags, but we'll be there at every corner with volunteers and any other help that's necessary to make the drive a success. Because here's what we're facing. 1 in 8 Americans struggle to get enough to eat. That includes 12 million children. And the worst thing in the world is to hear a baby crying because they're hungry. It's difficult for a child to be able to learn when their stomach's growling louder than their teacher speaking. And that's all happening in the richest country on the face of the earth at our richest point in time. It's shameful. And we, us, all of us, we have to do everything in our power to reverse it. And we can start by making sure that every worker has the right to form a union and bargain collectively. And in the long run, as long as there's hunger in this nation, we have to use our massive infrastructure in the labor movement to bring help and hope to those who are suffering. So put some non-perishable food items out by your mailbox next Saturday. And if you see a letter carrier, thank them, because they're doing all the heavy lifting. And while you're at it, tell your members of Congress to protect the post office from privatization. You see, the Stamp Out Hunger program drive is one of the most important things that we're going to do this year. And I want to close by reminding me of a story of the late statesman and humanitarian George McGovern. He would tell this story all the time. As director of the World Food Program in the 1960s, he had the opportunity to meet with Pope John the 23rd. And the Pope grasped his hand, as he did both hands, and said, "Mr. McGovern, when you go to meet your Maker, and he asks, 'Did you feed the hungry?' you can say, 'I did.'" Brothers and sisters, with Saturday's effort, we too will be able to say, "I did." The letter carriers, the labor movement, all the sponsors, and all the food banks, we're going to feed the hungry. Thank you so very much. And Fred, thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Richard. I'd now like to introduce the UFCW President, Mark Perone.
Hi, everybody. I want to thank the National Letter Carriers President, Fred Rolando, for having this opportunity to speak to you today. And I also like to thank Rich, because quite frankly, your leadership as it relates to the rest of the labor movement in this function has in fact made this a better food drive. No matter who we are, or where we live, or what position that we hold, or where we come from, the true measure, quite honestly, of one life is defined by what they do for others. Every day in our nation, in our union family, we try to demonstrate our values like equality, community, dignity and decency, and selflessness. And I can think of no other position or place that we can do that as we're doing here with this food drive. And we are at our very best when we can demonstrate these values in reaching out and helping those who, quite frankly, need us, no matter who they are, or where they live, or where they come from. One of the most incredible opportunities that we have is to demonstrate our values here. And quite frankly, all these unions that are involved in this program are doing that. As the nation's largest private sector union, our members see the impact that hunger has and food insecurity has on families around this country. Right now, as Rich talked about, he said it 1 in 8, and I'd give you the number, 49 million Americans struggle with food insecurity every single day. How is it possible that the richest nation in the world could have that many people with challenges of putting food on their table? You know, I don't care who you are, where you're from. I don't care what you believe in, what political affiliation you are. No one should ever have to worry about where or if they're going to be able to put food on their table. Our country, quite honestly, can do better than that. We must do much better than that. And hunger is like a disease. It infects the person's body and soul, and it feeds countless social and economic ills. Yet, unlike diseases like cancer, we have a cure for hunger. It begins with us making sure that every person in this country has enough food to eat. On May 11th, bag by bag, door by door, millions of Americans, union and non-union alike, will donate food to help the working poor. And with NLEC's leadership, every one of these bags will be picked up and delivered to local food banks. It is in these selfless acts, quite honestly, this incredible campaign is a powerful measure of our collective character and our collective values. Regardless of our party or politics, the fight against hunger is one that must unite us all. And I'm proud to say that 1.3 million members of the UFCW are proud to stand with you here today. And all Americans who will help show this truly great nation what it can be, what it should be when we stand together. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak to you today. I want to thank Fred, Brian, and Christine. And most of all, I want to thank all of you for what you've done to help others. And once we're going to prove again what we can do together on May 11th. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll step down this time.
Thank you, Mr. Perone. I would like now to introduce to you the President of the National Rural Letter Carriers Association, Mr. Ronnie Stutz.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Has anybody had the allergies bothering them like I have? We'll try to get through this if I possibly can. And the NALC Food Drive, ladies and gentlemen, is an outgrowth of tradition of community service that has been repeated for many, many years. The NRLCA has been part of this worthy cause now for several years. Our carriers, both city and rural, go into neighborhoods 6 days every week and become the eyes and ears assisting with charities. We watch the elderly through alert programs. We assist the American Red Cross during times of disaster. And also, we rescue victims of fires, crimes, and other mishaps. While delivering mail and packages to the American public is our primary job, you can see that mail carriers play other vital roles for the American public. I just hope and pray that we can continue to shut down anyone or any group that wishes to privatize the United States Postal Service. Can I get an applause for that? I think if you talk to the American people, they'll tell you day in, day out what carriers do for this country. And it's more than, like I said, it's more than delivering mail. The NLC Food Drive started as a pilot back in 1991, and seeing its success, work began to make it a nationwide effort. In 1999, the nationwide food drive collected over 11 million pounds of food. In the next 26 years of the food drive, there have been in excess of 1.6 million pounds of food collected. Let's give that a round of applause. The next thing I want to talk to you about is, it's hard for me to believe, it's already been mentioned up here this morning, but it's hard for me to believe that anybody in this great United States would go hungry, especially children. Just want to give you a few facts. In 2018, over 40 million Americans struggled with hunger. Do you believe that? In the United States, not worldwide. An estimated 15 million households were food insecure. 1 in 6 American children may not know where their next meal comes from. Children that are food insecure are at higher risk of disease, depression, and they do poorly in school. Families with children experience a higher rate of food insecurity. No person or child in this great United States should go hungry. Thank you, NALC, for this incredible program, and the National Rural Letter Carrier Association looks forward to partnering with you this year and many more years to come until we can stand one day and say, nobody goes hungry. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, guys, we have United Way here. Miss Kelly Temple is going to speak. Kelly?
Hey, everybody. I'm Kelly Temple. I see some familiar faces in the room. I'm one of the directors for the Labor Engagement Department at United Way Worldwide, and I just want to say thank you so much for inviting us today. We are so happy to join you for the kickoff of our country's biggest one-day food drive ever. So we're just really excited to be here. United Way has actually been a partner since the beginning, and I really want to give a shout out and thank you to those that are doing the work on the ground that are making this food drive such a huge success. So first, of course, to the letter carriers that are out there doing heroic work every single day in our communities. I've actually had the privilege to be a judge for the Letter Carriers Heroes Awards for the last 2 years. And let me tell you, the stories that I've read, it's incredible. It's just amazing. The letter carriers truly keep an eye on their communities and take care of their neighbors. And some of them even risk their lives. So it's just incredible. I also want to thank local United Way labor liaisons and labor staff across the country who are on the ground organizing with the letter carriers and with our labor partners and making this food drive such a huge success. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Christina Davidson for your tireless efforts and leadership. And we're just grateful to be a part of this effort. Can't wait to see what we do on Saturday. So, thanks.
Thank you, Kelly. And now, with the U.S. Postal Service is one of our largest helpers and donors in logistics and everything. I'd like to introduce Simon Story.
No, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Christina, and thank you, Fred, for inviting me to attend the 27th Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive. What an amazing event it's going to be, and what a great video that you shared with us this morning. Thank you for that. As many have said, since the drive began in '93, donations have totaled more than 1.6 billion pounds of food. That's such an impressive and amazing stat in itself. And certainly, as Fred mentioned, 15 consecutive years of over 70 million pounds per year. So we'll take the challenge, let's get 80 plus, that's awesome. While those stats are great, it's evident, as some of the speakers have already shared and the video that's so poignantly put out, is that we still have many people that we probably individually know that are going hungry, children, loved ones. But we can make a difference, and we will make a difference. And this is just one weekend, but we're going to prove that again to the nation. The food drive is certainly made possible through the hard work and generosity of the National Association of Letter Carriers, the National Rural Letter Carrier Association, and countless many other employees dedicated to this effort that work behind the scenes to make this food drive such a success. We're certainly blessed to have great partners, as mentioned this morning, including Valpak, United Way, Galassis, Kellogg's. Yes, I too got to have a picture with Tony the Tiger. That was awesome. The local food pantries, certainly the AFL-CIO, and certainly United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. It's those contributions and that support that's going to make this drive successful. So thank you for that. I think, a couple have mentioned that it's difficult to comprehend how so many people in the nation's, well, I would say in the world's richest nation, right, the United States, the people go hungry. It's true, they do. But it's also true, by working together, collaborating together, that we can make a difference for those Americans in need. And it's certainly a privilege and an honor that everyone here is dedicated to that effort and be a part of it. We'll make a difference because of the dedicated and generous nature of postal employees. They give back to their communities all year round. This is one weekend in May that is a shining example, but as folks have mentioned, our employees make an impact in our communities each and every day, and I, for one, certainly very proud of them for that effort. As one of the nation's oldest public service institutions, our employees have service embedded in their DNA. That's who they are, and they provide that service so heroically each and every day. So we see that effort in great customer service, helping their neighbors, and truly this Saturday is just going to be another shining example of that. So Fred, thank you for the invite. Looking forward to a tremendous Saturday. Make sure you got all your bags and your bags out there for the carriers to pick up. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Simon. This next partner of ours, they came in a little late, but they came in strong, and I want to thank Jack and CVS, so let me welcome you, Jack Garrett.
Yeah, I just have a few comments. I want to say thank you to Fred and to Brian, Christina, and everybody at NALC and all the partners for letting us participate in this event. This issue of fighting hunger is important to you all, and it's really important to CVS Health. We understand that hunger does impact health, and as you build stronger communities, you have to determine everything that can impact health. Hunger is one of them, so we really believe in this effort. As Fred mentioned, we've been playing the PSAs in all 9,900 stores across the country, including 25 stores in Puerto Rico in Spanish. I'm sure all of our employees by now could recite the PSA because they hear it all day. They will hear it through Saturday. So we're really proud of that. We are making a couple of donations, one locally here to the food bank. We have a big relationship with Feeding America And I just really want to say thank you to you all. We are proud and thankful to be part of this effort. It is a great day. These are the types of things that makes all of our jobs easier. I'm sure I speak for all of you in saying that. So thank you, Fred, Ryan, again, and all the partners for letting CVS Health be part of this important event. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. As you know, as he stated, CVS has given Capital Area Food Bank $10,000. I would like Molly to come on up here. Molly, this is the check that CVS has presented to y'all. It's a $10,000 check.
Christina, move that one.
There you go.
There you go.
Fred. I want Fred to have. Oh, sure. Come on.
Don't move to the, check it out right.
Right.
Move to the right a little bit more, yeah. Thank you. Falls off. Yeah, be careful.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today, and thank you, Jack, for this incredible donation. Really appreciate the support of CVS. I'm Molly McGlinchey. I'm the director of the food resources at the Capital Area Food Bank, and a big part of my job is getting that food into our distribution center so that we can send it back into the community and support the people in need. I'm here to say an enormous thank you to this team for participating in the 27th annual Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive. As many of you in this room know, the Capital Area Food Bank is the region's largest organization working to solve hunger and its companion problems of chronic undernutrition, heart disease, and obesity, located in Northeast DC. It's hard to believe, but hunger is here. It's right where we live. In our region, in the nation's capital, there are 400,000 people that may not know where their next meal is coming from. The face of hunger is diverse and often not what you would expect. We serve people like a single mom who works multiple jobs to keep her household afloat, a dad who is laid off and spends days looking for work to support his family, and a senior living on a low fixed income. With the help of the community, we distribute 32 million meals each year. Food is important to everyone, especially children. And we know that when budgets are tight, food is often the first thing to be cut, which is why this food drive is so important. The healthy food donated by Americans across the country and picked up by the dedicated letter carriers provides nutrients that can help a child grow, keep an adult focused throughout the workday, or help a senior absorb medication. Solving hunger really does take everybody, and food drives like this one really provide an opportunity for partnership and for support for our community. It's donations like this that make our work possible and to help to keep our community strong. Thank you so much to all of the partners participating in the Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive. And don't forget to leave your bag by your mailboxes this Saturday. Thank you all.
In conclusion, again, I want to thank everybody. Fred, you want to? Yeah, no. I would like to thank, first of all, Jennifer and Anthony. Y'all have been a big I want to thank the social media and Phil Dine and Mike Shane on them for can't do it alone. And so I want to thank all the letter carriers that are here, without your help also, and the ones that have came around from DC, thank you for coming and everything. Awesome, thank you for coming. And I want to thank Fred and Brian for everything also, for putting me in this position and allowing me to do this for the community and for the letter carriers.